and you're like a gold only person and you want to buy gold cheap, put your money into silver and wait for a couple years, and you could trade that 85-1 ratio at 40-1 and own almost twice as much gold as you would have if you bought gold directly.
Well, finally, I want to ask you about how you think silver might perform during this financial correction, recession, however you want to define it. Certainly, the administration of the White House is a little bit uncertain as to how to define this current downturn, but let's call it a recession for argument's sake.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's going to do well. The reason I say that with some authority is I did a bit of a deep dive on a recent talk I gave. And what I discovered was a seasonality during midterm elections. And during that was very strong seasonality that gold goes up from July to the end of the year. So 7 straight months, 6, 7 months. Straight up meaning, 45-degree angle. So silver's 80% correlated to gold, which implies, both the metals will do good over the next several months. I think the uncertainty factor of what's going on politically worldwide, with a lot of citizenry, wherever they are, being disgusted with their political class, and people, when they tend to be concerned about the politics of their area, tend to run to gold for stability. And I think that will continue. So I'm actually thinking that, gold and silver can do well even in a recession, especially if the recession takes down the production that we talked about already earlier in the program.
All right. So then gold and silver ratio, then do you see a compression in the ratio, or do you think gold's going to outperform silver?
Well, gold has, depends what time frame we're talking about. I mean, in the 2008 crisis, when they both got hammered, silver went from the bottom and went up over 5-fold, and gold did a little better than a double. So silver far outperformed gold in the last major crisis. Will it do it the next time? I believe it probably will in the long term, but in the short term, I think gold's pretty much pulling silver up. Silver started to close the gold-silver ratio somewhat. I think if you have a long-term perspective and you're like a gold-only person and you want to buy gold cheap, put your money into silver and wait for a couple years, and you could trade that 85-1 ratio at 40-1 and own almost twice as much gold as you would have if you bought gold directly.
Wondering why in your solutions you didn't propose the government spending a lot of money, we're investing a lot of money to basically explore or mine for more silver. The Biden administration has recently, of course, as you might be aware, invested billions of dollars in mining uranium or exploring for uranium domestically, so we don't have to be as reliant on foreign sources of uranium like from Kazakhstan or Russia. Why is this not a long-term solution for silver?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's debatable. First of all, the environmental laws are pretty strict in the United States, although certainly there's a lot of mining in Nevada. It's pretty easy to do a silver mine, a gold mine, any type of mine in Nevada. Other states, you almost, no matter what you discover, you wouldn't be allowed to mine it. But what's interesting about that question is that the Silver Eagle program, going back to the Mint, when it was first enacted in the law, the requirement was that all the eagles had to come from domestically produced silver. So it had to be a mine in the United States that produced silver, and that silver would be used in the Silver Eagle program. Well, they had to nix that right away because within a few years, the demand for silver was greater than the combined all the mining available for silver in the United States. So there's not a lot of silver that comes out of the U.S. relative to the rest of the world. Mexico, Peru, China, they're much larger producers in the United States. Now, back to your question, could we mandate, a big idea of getting more silver in the States? And the answer is yes. How much is left? Hard to say. I mean, the great silver rush through Nevada, the Comstock lode, in Colorado, which was huge. Are they mined out? No. But I don't think there's a lot left in the US of A. I think most of what's available that I'm aware of, and of course that's one of my areas that I dive deep, is Mexico.
Okay.
There's still a lot of deposits in Mexico that are substantial.
Maybe in space, David. Maybe